It was a sunny morning in Los Angeles, the kind of day that made people smile. The sun shone brightly over the palm trees, and the scent of fresh coffee wafted through the air from the nearby cafes. However, it wasn't just the beautiful weather that drew attention that day. The sound of motorcycles roaring echoed throughout the streets, as a group of bikers gathered at a local square. Among them was a biker named Rex, notorious for his aggressive demeanor and a reputation that made him a feared figure in the community. Rex, clad in a leather jacket adorned with patches that boasted both his gang affiliation and reckless adventures, surveyed the area with a mix of pride and disdain. He thrived on the thrill of chaos and mischief, reveling in the power he felt amongst his fellow bikers. Laughter erupted from the group as they recounted wild stories from their infamous escapades, sharing jokes that often crossed the line of decency. Meanwhile, in a quieter part of the city, Shaquille O'Neal, the former basketball superstar and now a beloved television personality, walked leisurely with his faithful French bulldog Spike. Spike, with his playful antics and charming personality, was more than just a pet. He was Shaquille's best friend and a source of joy in his life. Shaquille smiled as Spike wagged his tail energetically, sniffing at everything that piqued his curiosity. As Shaquille strolled towards a small local park, he could not foresee the turmoil that was about to unfold. Rex, now noticing Spike from a distance, felt a surge of impulse. A cruel idea flickered in his mind. He viewed Spike's playful demeanor as an opportunity for amusement. In a moment devoid of empathy, Rex decided to give the little dog a lesson just for fun, thinking it would be hilarious. With a maniacal grin plastered across his face, he strode towards Spike, fully confident in the cruelty he was about to inflict. In a despicable act, Rex approached Spike, kicked him hard in the side, and laughed heartlessly as the dog's surprised yelp filled the air. The laughter of Rex's friends echoed around him, amplifying the atmosphere of insensitivity that clouded the square. The moment froze for Shaquille. Anger shot through him like a bolt of lightning. Spike, who had been innocently exploring, was now yelping in pain and confusion. Shaquille's heart sank as he rushed toward Spike, his instincts flaring to protect his loyal companion. "Hey! What the hell is wrong with you?" Shaquille shouted, his voice filled with outrage and disbelief as he approached Rex, whose bravado began to crumble as he noticed Shaquille's imposing figure looming closer. Rex, trying to hold his ground, chuckled dismissively. "It's just a dog, man. Get over it. Lighten up," he taunted, underestimating the fury brewing within the former athlete. Shaquille squared his shoulders, his towering presence demanding respect. "You think this is funny? That dog means the world to me. You're going to pay for this." The crowd around them grew tense, with some onlookers gasping at the audacity of Rex, while others began to pull out their phones, ready to record. Feeling the pressure of the crowd, Rex realized he might have gone too far. With a swift calculation, he attempted to retain his image. "You don't scare me, O'Neal. I've dealt with bigger guys than you." He sneered, but the bravado in his voice failed to convince anyone, least of all himself. But Shaquille was unfazed. This was about more than just a challenge. It was about standing up for what was right. With a sudden lunge, he grabbed Rex's arm, twisting him around with surprising speed given his size. Rex stumbled backward, caught off guard by the strength of this giant of a man. "Do you want to get out of my way, or do you need help?" Shaquille growled, shaking Rex's composure to the core. The bikers surrounding Rex shifted awkwardly, their bravado fading as they realized they had crossed an unforgivable line. The tension continued to build, and for a moment, it felt like a storm was brewing in that small square. "This is your last chance," Shaquille warned, his eyes shining with intensity. "If you value your pride, just walk away." Rex clenched his fists, the realization dawning on him that he was outmatched and that his attempts at intimidation had backfired spectacularly. He sneered one last time, attempting to mask his fear. "You got lucky today, big guy. But I won't forget this." With that half-hearted threat, he turned on his heel and strode away, his comrades reluctantly trailing behind. Shaquille turned to Spike, who was sitting helplessly on the ground, whimpering softly. Shaquille knelt beside him, his heart aching at what had happened. "Hey buddy, I'm here." "It's okay," he whispered, stroking Spike's fur gently. As he checked for injuries, the relief washed over him when he discovered that, aside from some bruising, Spike was mostly fine. Soon after, the incident spread like wildfire across social media. Videos and photos popped up on various platforms, capturing the confrontation between Shaquille and Rex, creating a storm of varied opinions. Many rallied behind Shaquille, praising him for defending Spike, while others questioned his reaction, siding with the idea that he, as a celebrity, should have risen above the provocation. Seeing the reactions unfold on his phone later that day, Shaquille recognized an opportunity to channel the outrage into something constructive. He decided he had to take action, not just for Spike, but for all animals who either suffered in silence or faced cruel treatment. He organized a press conference, and the event drew a considerable crowd, including local news stations, animal rights activists, and fans. Shaquille stood at the podium, his voice steady and commanding. Today, what happened to Spike is a reminder of the cruelty that some animals face daily. This needs to stop. We must take a stand for those who cannot speak for themselves. He announced a new campaign for animal protection, promising to raise awareness and funds for local shelters and animal welfare organizations. The momentum grew as celebrities and influencers joined the cause, contributing their time and resources to spread the message far and wide. Over the next few months, Shaquille became an active advocate for animal rights, participating in fundraisers, awareness walks, and community events. Spike enjoyed the attention, relishing the love and care from both Shaquille and the increasing number of supporters. Their bond only deepened as they spent more time together in various events, raising visibility for animal welfare. The campaign garnered attention from countless influential figures, and soon enough, Shaquille's efforts blossomed into a citywide movement advocating for the humane treatment of animals. He collaborated with local shelters to host adoption events, where animals, once abandoned and neglected, found loving homes. But as Shaquille's campaign flourished, Rex's reputation continued to suffer, the viral videos haunting him. The biker's bravado turned into a burden. He began losing friends as the stigma of his actions clung to him relentlessly. The laughter of the past was replaced by whispers and judgment. He felt betrayed by his closest allies, as they shunned him for the fallout of his cruelty. Rex found himself standing at a crossroads. A former king of chaos, he was now the subject of ridicule. In his solitude, he began to reflect on his actions, weighed down by the guilt of what he had done. It stirred something in him, a flicker of consciousness he had long buried under layers of bravado. While seated at a local bar one evening, lost in thought, he overheard a group discussing Shaquille's charity work. Their admiration was palpable as they shared stories of how the movement had transformed lives, encouraging people to adopt instead of shopping for pets. A sense of longing washed over him. Would he ever be able to earn redemption? That night marked the beginning of Rex's transformation. Determined to amend his ways, he sought help and began volunteering at his local animal shelter, trying to make a difference in the lives of the animals he had once ridiculed. He witnessed firsthand the impact of kindness and compassion. He felt the weight of the love he had denied Spike and countless other animals. His road to redemption was not without challenges. He faced skepticism from some volunteers who questioned his motives. Yet, Rex persevered, knowing he had to prove his commitment to change. Each day at the shelter brought new challenges but also heartwarming moments: a puppy's wagging tail, a cat's soft purr, and volunteers who slowly began to see glimmers of change in him. Months turned into years, and the journey transformed Rex. The once feared biker had become a voice for the voiceless, advocating for responsible pet ownership and humane treatment of animals. He represented his local shelter at community events, often sharing his story of redemption and the impact of kindness. It was during one of these events that Shaquille and Rex crossed paths again. Shaquille had been invited to participate in an adoption event where he was going to speak about his campaign. Rex, nervous yet determined, stood in the shadows, unsure of how to approach the man he once wronged. As Shaquille took the stage, his warm presence filled the room, and the audience was captivated. The event went smoothly as families adopted their new furry friends, while Rex gained the courage to step forward. Swallowing his insecurities, he approached Shaquille after his speech.
Shaquille.
Rex began, his voice barely above a whisper. I need to apologize. I was horrible before, and I can't undo what I did to Spike, but I want you to know I've changed. The tension hung in the air, but Shaquille's expression softened. Rex, he replied, crossing his arms with a contemplative look, acknowledging your past is the first step. I genuinely believe in redemption. I've seen how you've turned your life around for the better. If you truly want to make amends, here's your chance to be part of something meaningful. Shaquille extended his hand, and Rex, eyes wide with surprise, accepted it. It marked the beginning of a new chapter for both men, one rooted in second chances and hope. From that day onward, Shaquille and Rex collaborated on various campaigns, using their unique experiences to promote animal welfare even further. Rex shared his story as a cautionary tale, while Shaquille spoke of the importance of compassion and standing up for the vulnerable. Their friendship blossomed as they recognized the power of growth and transformation, each learning from the other. Together, they created community initiatives, including school programs educating children about empathy towards animals and organizing local events to raise funds for animal shelters. In time, Rex even adopted a dog of his own from the shelter he had helped, naming him Chance, symbolic of the new life he had chosen. Shaquille often joked that he had not only gained a friend but an unexpected ally in the fight for animal rights. As the motorcycle engines roared through the streets of Los Angeles, Rex no longer felt the need to join the laughter that once defined him. Instead, the sound reminded him of his journey and how far he had come. Years later, Shaquille and Rex stood together during an adoption event, addressing a sea of onlookers. With Spike by his side, Shaquille emphasized, "Change is always possible. It lies in our willingness to recognize our mistakes and strive for a better tomorrow." Rex nodded, sharing the spotlight. No matter how far you've fallen, redemption is attainable. The journey may be tough, but it's worth every step. We can all make a difference. The crowd erupted in cheers and applause, their words resonating deeply within the hearts of many. The legacy of kindness and compassion spread like wildfire that day. And just as Spike panted happily at their feet, it was a clear reminder that love often finds its way back, transforming lives in ways beyond imagination. As the sun began to set over Los Angeles, the two men, once adversaries, stood united in their mission, proving that even amidst chaos, hope and love could undoubtedly flourish. This version expands the plot, adds character development, and emphasizes themes of redemption, compassion, and friendship while enhancing the overall narrative. If you need additional details or adjustments, feel free to let me know.